about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Daliah, 1-877-DOCDALI. So we have a lot to get to, but I just need to kind of open with this thing that I'm kind of going through right now. And, it helps me talking this stuff through with you guys. So this weekend, I went go-karting. And I love to drive. I'm the one that taught my boys how to drive. Yeah, Corey did, but I taught them how to speed. And I love driving. I love driving fast. I like to go fast. If you ain't first, you last. So I just love driving. And so my son wanted to this weekend go go-karting. And there's this place I've been taking them to ever since they were little, and they wanted to do that this weekend. And what I'm going through right now is I might be getting too old for go-karting. We all kind of go through a time in our lives when, can I beat my kids running? Can I out arm wrestle them? Can I still hike up a mountain? Can I still ski? And slowly I am starting to realize that I'm getting too old for certain things. I don't think I'm ever going to snowboard. I've tried it. I ski, but I was like, okay, I'll learn how to snowboard because I think I'm at that age where I won't be able to do it because I'm going to fall and break something. And I don't like that. So here I am, we're go-karting. And this, we went to the, it's not called Malibu Grand Prix. Maybe it is. I don't know. It's Mini Grand Prix, whatever. And so they have multiple little rides. They got the kiddie rides. They got the middle ones. And then they got these Euro carts. These Euro carts are super fast. Those I loved. But you're just slicking around and it's oil slicked and you're turning curves and it's really fast and they make you wear a helmet and all that. But the first thing I do is I worry about lice. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to put somebody's sweaty helmet and so already, while everybody else is running to get their helmets, I'm starting to go, wait a second. I don't know if I want to put, now they gave you like little rags and little protectors, but I'm like, how do I know these are clean? So already that's, okay, when I was in my 20s, I didn't care. I mean, you would pass beer around. You didn't care about germs. So then I'm driving super fast and I get passed twice. Now, anytime you pass me on a freeway, I'll trust me, I am going to make my stand and I'm going to show you how, no, you're not beating me. I let them go. These people were like probably 20 years younger than me and they were driving faster and I actually hesitated. I'm a big show off when I drive. The fact that I hesitated made me go, huh? And then we're on the smaller rides, which you still go fast because the Eurozone, the line was too long. So we only did one of those. And I'm in the car. And as I get into my go-kart, I want to adjust the seat. I got long legs for my body. And so I want to extend, like your regular car. So I'm like, well, where's the buttons? Okay, I need to extend my legs. So my legs were kind of too long for the cart, so I kind of had to bend them, and I was wearing pants, so it's okay in terms of that. But I felt like I needed to adjust the go-kart. And I didn't say anything because I didn't want to be one of those old women that say, excuse me, I need to change this around. But what was really embarrassing was we needed to get out of the vehicle when we're done. And so they said, please exit the vehicle. Well, it takes me a little while to get up. So my left hip has been bothering me. And so I had to kind of internally rotate my hip, but then my knees, I don't know about you all, but if I'm in a seated position, it takes me about a good 45 minutes to get, my knees going again. And so you have to go from sitting to standing, not to mention, I don't want to get orthostatic hypotension where I'm getting up so quickly that I get dizzy. So I'm trying to ease. Luckily that doesn't happen because it takes me so long to get my joints in. So they're saying, please exit the vehicle. I'm like, I'm trying to exit the vehicle. You don't understand. Okay. I got knee issues. I got hip issues. And these little kids are like, hurry. I want to go in the car. I'm like, look, okay, I got osteoarthritis. Cut me some slack, Jack. I drove this before you were even a little sperm or egg in your mommy's tummy. So I know what I'm doing. Just let me internally rotate the hip, get myself up, and then straighten the knee and not pop it and then straddle the car to get off. But this was the clincher. One of the rides, as we finish, you're not supposed to bump the person. Well, somebody hit me hard from behind in the car. And I yelled. And I was like, ow! And then I turned around and I said, oh, it's okay, because they felt bad. I go, oh, it's okay, it's okay. But I never wanted to be one of those people that made a younger person feel bad. Usually you're like, that was a good one. That was a good one. And I didn't do that because I kind of hurt. And so I get off the track, and now I'm getting yelled at. That you shouldn't be on the track because there's moving cars. And I'm like, I don't want to get hit. And everybody's looking at me like I'm like this old woman. I'm like, I'm not old. You don't understand. I've been driving go-karts. I've been doing goofy golf. I've been rock climbing. I've been hiking. I've been skiing before all of you were, like I said, little eggs. And here I am now getting to an age where I started feeling like I didn't belong. Now, anybody, if I told my husband this, he was out of town, he comes back, and he'd be like, to heck with that. Why do you worry about what people think? And I'm like, because I remember looking at the old women going, that's not going to be me. I'm not going to be complaining if somebody whiplashes me in the car. I'm not going to slow my roll when I'm turning a curve, because actually you kind of speed up to get more control. I'm not going to, take forever to get out of a go-kart. And that's how I feel. Now, I'm still going to go-karting because I am not really ready to do that so I have a lot of speeding tickets, so I can't really drive my regular car fast. So at least I like to go to a place where I can drive fast and not necessarily, but I still got in trouble. Then my son didn't help because my son basically hit me on purpose. So I swerved and then got stuck, and then your car got stuck. And I'm looking at this going, and then another thing too is it was expensive. Not to criticize the place, but it was like 60 some bucks an hour. So I'm sitting there in line like those Progressive commercials. You don't want to look like your parents. I'm like, really? That's how much it's costing per hour? So I don't know. I was a fuddy-duddy yesterday. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH. Don't go away.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by right now to answer your questions for free. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-710-5100. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell our listeners who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me join you to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now and find out how much your case is potentially worth. Call 800-710-5100.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. If you think you deserve compensation, call now to find out how much you qualify for. 800-710-5100.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
The cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Now, don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to TotalWellness.com. Supplements made for physicians, only now available to you too. TotalWellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Dali, 1-877 DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to you all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on X or Twitter at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, YouTube. Click like and subscribe. And if you ever miss any of our shows, go to drdaliah.com. So when I was on air on Friday, Vladimir Zelensky was in the White House, and there was a very public exchange. And Trump was mad. And it was, we couldn't report fully on it because it happened while we were on air. But afterwards, we got a lot more of the story. And when I watched the interaction, I felt bad for Vladimir Zelensky. I like him. I've, been so upset that Ukraine has undergone this invasion by Putin. But that's not the issue here. All right. We're told that not only did Vladimir Zelensky get yelled at by Trump, he's been yelled at by Biden. Apparently, there was a phone call. I think the Economic Times or Newsweek, somebody reported that Biden, during a phone call, yelled at Zelensky. Now, we just thought Biden was doing that because of his age. Everybody said, well, it was an age thing. And we saw him yell and but apparently Biden got frustrated with him because when he was promising, I think, like $1 billion in aid, Zelensky was asking for more, or asking for other, allegedly, reportedly. So it's not the first time Zelensky got yelled at. But here we have the Ukrainian president. We have Ukraine, who is holding on these guys have a lot of grit, and boy, what they've been able to do to help withstand Russia's fight. I mean, it's one thing that we're funding, their defense of this, but it's another thing for them to not need American soldiers and to use their own people. So I think bipartisanly, we do all have a place in our heart for Ukraine. But what is not partisan is, how are we going to end the war? Is this going to go on for years? I am so glad that Ukraine was able to stave off Putin. But Putin does have resources. Everybody says, he won't last longer than a couple months. Here they are 3 years later. And he has China backing him. He could use Syria, North Korea. This could go on for a long time. So when people were saying, boy, Trump was mean, Trump was beating up on Zelensky, and I did not like that exchange, but the background to this was Trump wants, as well as I think most other countries around the globe, this war to end. And this isn't about him liking Putin or liking Zelensky. This is about, okay, I have a goal, stay out of my way. Now, for those of us watching, we're like, well, it's all about Ukraine because they're the ones that got attacked. The murders, the rapes, we all have a place in our heart for Ukraine. I want Ukraine to succeed. But now we're looking at a situation where they probably are not going to win this war. So the next strategy is, how do we end the war? We need to stop the war. And stopping the war means there's got to be some pretty choreographed diplomacy. Now, Ukraine is the easier of the two to deal with because U.S. is funding Ukraine. So what the U.S. could do is say, you're ending this war. We're not giving you any more funds. And if you don't want to fall, you do what we say. Putin is the one that's trickier. And Trump, as much as everybody wants us to tell Trump to go tell Putin to go fly a kite, and to tell him to, do some things that I can't say on air, if the goal is to get this war to end. Even though I don't want Putin winning in this, nobody does. Trump has a plan to, figure out how to not so much make Ukraine and Russia happy, but how to put an end to this. Now, this rare mineral deal that, people were like, oh my gosh, is the U.S. trying to take advantage of Ukraine? The U.S. has to explain to taxpayers, because Trump got voted in saying, look, we're going to stop the spending, stop the faucet. And so if there is an actual relationship where they're getting paid back, like I think didn't during World War II, England give America land and territories in exchange for help? So that stuff happens all the time. It's just now that everything's public, and now that you saw the yelling, it looks it's not good optics at all. But if America wants to be connected to Ukraine and always be an ally, this allows them to have some shared interest. In terms of Putin, Putin needs to back the hell down, but he's not going to. You can't tell Putin back off. So it's going to take some negotiation. I understand Trump said the war is going to end before I, get into office. No, it's going to be a little bit more delicate, but his goal is getting this war to end. And Ukraine is in a position right now where they need American dollars, and it's not just $1 million, it's billions. And so it turns out what's coming up next is Zelensky does want to work on the rare earth mineral deal with U.S. because Ukraine needs America. Now, if Europe stepped up, if Europe replaced the billions of dollars America is, then Ukraine would be fine. But they're not. The U.S. is always the one spending more money. And that puts us in a position where now this administration wants to cut the spending. And I think American taxpayers want to also. And nobody wants this war to go on. I think we all want this war to end. And if this doesn't end, any sort of brewing and any sort of conflict could later be the start of World War III. People always say, it's not going to start World War III. 3 years ago, I said, absolutely, this can be the start. Everybody thinks World War III has to happen with one battle. No, it's brewing. This could be the start of a decade-long conflict that ends up turning into World War III. Because the more chaos, the more death, the more desperation, the more war can come. And so I agree with Trump that the war has to end. I also agree that any sort of back and forth between Zelensky and Trump should be done in private. I did not like how this was public, but apparently this isn't, Trump is a much more public president. So he now has, every time somebody comes to visit, he's having that on camera. And so, maybe it bit him in the butt. Maybe it didn't. Maybe people were like, look, it's time this ends. And Trump showed that he was alpha. And I like Zelensky. I think he has been, one hell of a tough mother in terms of everything that they've had to go through. But now we're at the point where what is the quickest way to get this to end? And I feel bad for Ukraine. I really do. They should have never been invaded. This should have never happened. And from the beginning, I was hoping that they could win and push Putin back. And they couldn't. And even with our help, and what they were able to do was still amazing. What they've been able to survive and overcome, but it's not going to end. So I can't speak, for any of these other world leaders, and I don't know what the other world leaders are saying. I know they all want the war to end, but how do you do that? And so it's going to be some tough love. And Trump, he doesn't have power over Putin. He has power over Ukraine because he's funding Ukraine. So that's the easy part. He could say, we're not going to give you any more funding so the war ends, but we don't want you to fall. So do it our way, and then we're going to get Putin to back down. Now, getting Putin to back down, it's not going to work, them saying, up yours, because America doesn't want to go to war with Russia. We, from the beginning, have not wanted to do boots on the ground. So do you catch more bees with honey than you do vinegar? So Trump's choices are going after Putin, and now America's at war with Russia, or trying to honeypot or sweeten a deal to make him back off. Now, the first thing everybody's doing in the media is saying, well, Trump is with Putin. Trump is with Putin. I don't really want to get into that. I don't know what, people think their relationship is. But we as Americans have to decide, do we want to go to war and send our men and women to fight and now be in a prolonged war with Russia? Or do we want to play nice, get them to back the hell down, get this war to end? And that's kind of where we're at. That's how I look at the situation. You guys might look at the situation differently. And so now it seems to be less relevant to the Trump administration and Congress what Zelensky wants, because he's gotten 3 years of funding. And again, I support Ukraine, but there's how do we get this to end? So that's how I see it. 1-877 Doc Daliah, don't go away. Dr. Daliah here. Are you tired, burned out, gaining weight, succumbing to the daily pressures of life? Well, how's your dopamine doing? How you feel right now, how you'll feel an hour from now, and how you'll feel next week is completely reliant on your dopamine. Our daily motivation and willingness to push through challenges depends on the intricate chemical process dopamine provides. Christian Kalikas and I created Deploying Dopamine, a book that tells you what dopamine is, when it dysfunctions, and how to successfully deploy it when needed. Find Deploying Dopamine on Amazon today. Check it out.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
Back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Daliah, 1-877-DOCDALI. So when people try to lose weight, they've kind of learned that they need to shy away from the carbs, and they need to eat more healthy fats, not the bad fats, and increase protein. But a lot of people struggle on how to increase protein in your diet. So I'm really excited about our next guest. Amy Goodson, a registered dietitian, is also a consultant with an emphasis on overall health, wellness, sports nutrition. She has 15 years of experience and has worked with Ben Hogan Sports Medicine with the Dallas Cowboys, Texas Rangers, as well as with many students and endurance athletes. She also works with the everyday exercising population to improve health and wellness. So I am really, really excited to have Amy Goodson join us on the show today. Hi, Amy.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Wow, I love that you work with athletes, because a lot of us that are, kind of pseudo athletes or maybe not endurance athletes, want to do what they do because we see how healthy they are. We see their muscle mass. Talk to us about protein and why it's so important.
So protein plays an important role in building muscle because it really provides the building blocks needed to help us fuel recovery after physical activity. And that can be physical activity from your kid's soccer game all the way to the elite athlete or the person that's just hitting the gym a few times a week. And what's important to note is that animal proteins like lean beef are one of the most nutrient-dense, complete proteins available. And that means that it provides the body with all of the essential amino acids that we need to maintain our lean muscle mass. And then what's another important thing to note is that as we age, protein really helps fuel stamina, and that's going to be critical for helping adults live independently later in life. So we want people to live, but live well, and that high-quality protein can really help with overall healthier living.
Absolutely. And so, meal preparation. A lot of times we as moms might not necessarily have the time to eat because we're preparing for, the family and the kids. How do you balance that? What do you recommend in terms of that?
Yeah, so when we talk about fueling families, when we think about the plate, I like to tell people to think about the 3-part plate rule, which means making a third of your plate high-quality protein like lean beef that promotes muscle building as well as recovery, making a third of it whole grains, so that's going to help support sustained energy. That could be oatmeal or whole grain toast in the morning, could be rice or multigrain pasta. And then, of course, a third of your plate as colorful fruits and vegetables for added vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and fiber. But there's lots of different ways that can look. So I was teasing someone that most people don't realize you can get 5 food groups into a cheeseburger. If you do a lean ground beef patty, a slice of cheese on whole grain bun, add lettuce and tomato, and then a lot of people don't realize avocado is a fruit. Mash it up and put it on there. For families that are busy, as you mentioned, doing create very easy one day making lean ground beef. And then one day using that lean ground beef in tacos. One day throwing it into a stir fry with multigrain rice and vegetables. One night mixing it into tomato sauce with some added veggies and whole grain pasta. So it can be a simple way to think about making a high quality protein that's got those essential nutrients that we find in beef, and then incorporating it very easily into meals and snacks so that you don't have to spend as much time in the kitchen, because I think that's one of the reasons people just eat on the fly all the time, is because my mom used to always say, the problem is you have to be home to cook. And, a lot of people don't have time. So taking a few minutes to make the ground beef one night can really make your other nights easier to help get a nutrient-rich meal on the table for your family.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of different sources for protein. Talk about some of your favorite.
So we know that more and more people are looking towards whole foods over processed foods for their protein intake. So I mentioned lean beef. I'm also a lover of eggs and dairy foods. So one of the important things to talk about when we talk about animal protein specifically is not only do they provide high quality protein, but lots of other essential nutrients. So beef provides iron, zinc, selenium, which is an antioxidant, as well as B vitamins. When we talk about dairy foods like milk, cheese, and yogurt, you're going to get calcium and vitamin D. When we talk about salmon, you're getting, one of the best choices or options for omega-3 fatty acids. So focusing on some of those nutrient-rich proteins and then seeing how you can incorporate them into meals and snacks. I like to remind people that even powering snack time with protein, beef jerky and a banana, Greek yogurt with berries and whole grain granola, or cheese and whole grain crackers, really easy ways to help you get in that high-quality protein.
And boy, does it help you feel full, too. We're speaking to Amy Goodson, registered dietitian. So you are obviously well-versed on this. And so, talk to us about some of the foods that you're working on right now.
So I am a lover of incorporating high-quality protein into all the meals and snacks, starting at breakfast. So one of my favorite recipes is a beef sticky bun. So it's made with lean beef ground sausage, cheese, and veggies. So here's what I want you to think about. Taking like a whole grain pizza dough and mixing that mixture in and then rolling it up and cooking it almost like cinnamon rolls. So you slice it and cook it. And it is a perfect savory breakfast for getting kids fed in the morning, getting adults fed out the door. And you can make like a whole batch of this. So you can have it one morning. The next morning, you could very easily pop it in a microwave or an air fryer to get it nice and sizzling. So great solution for getting protein in the morning, lunchtime. One of my favorites is a simple wrap. So I love a chimichurri steak wrap where you have like a lean flank steak. You can very easily incorporate any colorful veggies, spinach, carrots, tomatoes, red bell peppers, whatever you have in your kitchen. Wrap that up in a whole grain tortilla. If you have kids and you more want to make it into a bento box where they could make their own, that can be fun. And then what family in the world doesn't love tacos? And so what I love about doing like a braised brisket taco is on those busy days, you can very easily pop the brisket in a slow cooker, like we talked about, making it easy so that it's ready when you get home later in the day. Pop it into corn tortillas with some veggies, avocado, maybe a side Southwest salad. But what's really a bonus is that when you're making things like a slow cooker brisket, you can also have extra. So like we were talking about, you can incorporate that into other meals over the course of the week.
March is National Nutrition Month, and so we're really, really grateful that you're kind of breaking down these truths and myths of higher protein diets. And the website, talk to us about this website. There's a lot of good resources on it.
Yeah, so you can visit beefitswhatsfordinner.com. So, of course, delicious recipes galore from breakfast to brunch, lunch, dinner, snacks, and entertaining, everything in between. But what's fantastic is we also have a variety of education resources to help fuel families, to help feed those active young kids. And so getting the science, as you mentioned about at the beginning, is key. So we like to give you the tips and then show you how to make it taste good.
Right. And this interview opportunity was provided by the National Cattlemen Beef Association, a contractor to the Beef Checkoff. So this was very, very informative. We're really, really grateful. Where else can our listeners find more information?
Yeah, so you can visit beefitswhatsfordinner.com, and then you're welcome to visit my website, amygoodsenrd.com. Have a blog on there. My business, we see individuals virtually for one-on-one nutrition counseling covered by medical insurance, making it more accessible to people. So we'd love to be a great resource for you.
Love it. Amy, can't wait to have you back. Thank you and your team, and God bless.
Thank you so much for having me.
1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So very commonly, she brought up a really good point about health insurance coverage. Very commonly, I would send those with diabetes or those with high cholesterol or weight issues to a dietitian. We are underutilizing such a huge resource as it pertains to diet, and dietitians and nutritional referrals and nutritional visits are oftentimes covered by insurance. I don't know if that was included in the Affordable Care Act. I think it started even before then, because they realized that those of us who do struggle with certain endocrinologic issues, most medical issues also come down to your diet and what you need to do to help improve your outcome. So definitely check that out. 1-877-DOC-DALI. Don't go away.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by right now. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-910-7500. That's 800-910-7500. Call now to find out how much your case could be worth.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Now, don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to TotalWellness.com. Supplements made for physicians, only now available to you too. TotalWellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Self-reliance. It's not a phrase we hear much in our culture these days. It might conjure up images of pioneers, the West, rifles, strapping men, and strong women. But what does it mean for us in today's world? The New American Magazine has just released its latest collector's edition, Self-Reliance, Foundation of Freedom. In it, the New American authors outline the necessity of self-reliance for a free people, tips for self-reliant living, and the importance of not giving up hope. This unique edition includes articles on the self-sufficiency of the founders, preparing for a worst-case scenario, firearms, financial self-reliance, the importance of community, and many other topics by expert writers. Now, for a limited time, the New American is offering a bundle of 3 collector's editions: Self-Reliance, The Great Reset, and Trump World for just $19.95. Available at shopjbs.org. Visit shopjbs.org today.
Right. We are We're back on the Dr. Daliah Show, 1-877-DOC Dolly, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So I was watching college basketball, and then I saw this ad that the Oscars were going on. I had no idea the Oscars were going on. I know a lot of people are waiting for the next White Lotus episode to drop, and that also dropped last night. But I guess the Oscars, Pacific time, were on in the afternoon. I guess it was like 4:30 to 7. So I thought the Oscars were on later at night. But they did it earlier. Maybe it's because they don't want people having the whole Super Bowl issue where they're, not going to bed till 11, 12 o'clock. I just don't usually watch the Oscars. So I turned it on the tail end. Adrian Brody was up there. He threw his gum to his wife, which, by the way, that's a sign of love. If you have no problem grabbing the gum, my husband, when we were dating, I had to throw out my gum. And he gives me his hand saying, give it to me. And that was a way for him to tell me that he wasn't, freaked out by my chewed gum or saliva. And so it's a tender moment. It's a disgusting moment, but it does show a sign of intimacy if you guys are comfortable holding each other's used gum. But the Oscars, I don't like to be critical of them. I just don't watch them. I think, seeing a whole bunch of people packed into a place looking very uncomfortable with their Spanx, kissing up. Just everybody seems to be kissing everybody's butt. And they all act like their world is so enchanted and, and all this money is being spent on them. And, they get, and I don't know. I understand a lot of people are entranced by that. Me, I just don't like, I'm not jealous of them. But they're human beings, and some of them got a real big break because, their mommy or daddy is in the business. Although I do like Patrick Schwarzenegger, Arnold Schwarzenegger's kid. I think he's got some talent. I think there are a lot of people that do have talent that we're seeing. Miley Cyrus is talented from Billy Ray Cyrus, but it's, they take it to another level. See, if I ever became famous, and in my mind, I do fantasize about, getting the Oscar, being a gold champion or a gold medalist in figure skating. And, if I got to live in that world, I always, in that fantasy, am donating money or building a hospital or building a school for the blind, or I don't fantasize about being in a sequin gown with everybody going, oh yes, your performance in Lord of the Rings was amazing. Best kiss with Viggo Mortensen ever. No, I that's not what now trust me, the kiss is a fantasy. That's in and of itself a whole different fantasy, but I don't fantasize about that. And I think when we all do it, we all have shampoo bottles where we're like, thank you. This Grammy, this song means so much to me. We all practice our little speeches every now and then. What happens if we win that race? Every time I watch the Olympics, oh my gosh, I am winning the slalom. I am doing the quadruple axel. That's where my mind goes with this. But part of that is always including where I did something for others. And I think it's because I will feel guilty having something that other people don't. And so when you know that there are people starving, there's people homeless, there's people struggling, and you get to march the red carpet being adorned and applauded and turn around, I would be, I don't know if I would be all dressed up in sequins. I don't know if I'd be able to fit in any of those dresses that they're wearing. I would probably be, and I'm not saying I'm going to be making a statement, but it would be, look, I'm not going to spend that kind of money on something so superficial when that money could go somewhere else. I love doing rewears. I have clothes that if they fit, I'll wear them for 10 plus years. I can't wear clothes for 20 years because I don't have the body I had 20 years ago. You all have noticed that in the pictures. But, and so I think I would feel guilty wearing those jewels, also, these individuals, they go up there half naked, or they wear these weird, and I understand you want to promote the designer. There's some tit for tat, where the designer will do something for you and you might not have to spend so much on the gown, or it could be free. But, there's, to me, more important things going on in this world. Now, I am really, kudos to Honora. I never saw the movie. I haven't seen most of these movies. The Brutalist, Amelia Perez. There's a lot of movies, I guess, out there. I watched the Avengers, the Captain America movie. That's probably the only movie I saw that I went and saw. And I will eventually watch some of these. I really have a tough time watching these movies because I like funny movies and adventure movies. And so I'm not really big on sad movies, and I should, because I probably would widen my repertoire of art. So I don't even know what they're talking about. They did pay tribute to Gene Hackman, and then Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg and Queen Latifah honored Quincy Jones, who died in November. And I think Wizard might have gotten a couple awards, but I think the Oscars are losing relevance. I think Hollywood is losing relevance. And here we have wars going on. We have hostages. Adrian Brody at least brought up, how we need to fight anti-Semitism and racism, etc. But when you see people so adorned and lavished with such luxury, I don't know. I don't want to watch that. And it's not a jealousy thing. It doesn't interest me. Now, and the other thing too is the reason why people want to see that is they want to see Timothy Chalamet or I don't know, Kylie Jenner, whatever, in their real off-screen persona, but they're all being fake. You're not seeing them off-screen. People are like, they're my favorite actor, so I want to see them on the red carpet. But they're not being, they're still in Hollywood mode. And I think people get so wrapped up in that fantasy. Now things are changing, and we are really seeing Hollywood take a hit. And I don't want to revel in that, but I think it's about time. People don't look at stars as gods. George, who's George Clooney supporting for president? Oh, wow. Well, George Clooney likes Biden. Well, now George Clooney's, didn't want to, be a casualty in the Biden campaign, and actually came out saying, "Look, he's different. This isn't the same president I supported 4 years ago. He's changed. Now I think Hollywood is realizing that people are going to be more critical of them." And some of them are completely off social media because they can't handle the criticism. For years, it was all about, oh, you're a hero, anything you do, you're a god, whatever. And now people are like, you look like crap, your dress stinks, you did bad acting. No wonder you didn't win the award. And that's a little too real for them. So congratulations to everybody who won with the Oscars. I do think that there were individuals who were very, very talented, represented in these movies, but I just didn't care. 1-877 Doc Daliah.
Did you know that healthy arteries make a gas? Yes, actually 3 known gases. Hi, I'm Dr. Mitch, and nitric oxide is a gas that's readily made all day long to keep our arteries open by relaxing the blood vessel walls. By doing this, our circulation is increased, bringing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body. Both age and poor diet can lead to a loss of this precious gas, and in turn, blood pressure can go up, energy can go down, and you can get tingling in your hands and feet. Well, our product, Ultimate Nitric Oxide, can easily help fix this lack of nitric oxide. Go to TotalWellness.com. That's TotalWellness.com, where we are helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.